Honestly, a really strong 12 or 13-year-old swinging a hype fire drop 5 compared to, like, for example, a select power drop 5.
Yeah.
You can legit see a 5 to 8, even with the best players, up to like a 10-mile-an-hour difference in exit.
What do you think bats will look like, say, in 10 years? Do you think we're like on a trajectory upward, or are we, sometimes we get called out for, it's just new paint.
For BBCOR, I think BBCOR bats are in a great spot.
They are.
I don't think there needs to be much changed. I think the main reason you're seeing big jumps in power numbers in college baseball is because of the baseball itself.
Yeah.
There's undoubtedly...
What is it you look for in a wood bat?
Well, it depends.
Does it differ from like a BBCOR?
Oh, yeah. Well, also, like, within wood bats, there's multiple different arenas. You have, like, I'm playing a full season of wood bat baseball.
Yep.
And that's its own conversation. Is it pro ball? Because then that eliminates everything that isn't one contiguous piece of wood.
Yep.
Are you using it for off-season training?
Uh-huh.
Are you a young kid that's facing like good pitchers, and do you need a wood bat that's going to like perform similar to a metal bat?
Uh-huh.
So you can go back and forth easy. Wood bats, for one, I think it's the most competitive industry anybody could ever get into as a business person. And there's way too many people making wood bats. Kind of similar to the pickleball paddle world.
Yes.
But there's just very little variance because it's all trees, right? Like,
yeah.
So that's the other problem with wood bats is like, even like if I'm going to review like a Marucci wood bat, like who's to say that my Marucci piece of wood is going to be the same as what a customer is going to buy? Like they're all a little bit different. So like that's part of the reason we don't review a lot of wood bats is because there's not a ton of consistency in the space.
Is there brand consistency though? Like, you tend to know what you're getting from a Marucci wood bat versus maybe a Slugger wood bat. Is there any of that?
I'm of the opinion that there is not as much brand consistency as a lot of people would think.
Okay.
So like, even within a brand like Louisville Slugger, there's their top-notch stuff, and most of that's probably going to the pros.
Yeah.
Or if you like get a custom, you'll probably get a really good one, but you're paying $250. And then there's their, like bottom shelf stuff. And even with it in each of the price ranges, like you'll get good cuts of wood, you'll get bad cuts of wood.
Yeah.
You'll get stuff that has really bad slope of grain. You'll get stuff that has really good slope of grain. You'll have stuff that'll break in the first 10 swings. You'll have stuff that'll last you 5 seasons out of like a $70 wood bat. So there's a lot of variance because again, it's not consistent manufacturing. It's trees.
Yeah.
So trees are going to do what they want, man. and you can just look at 2 bats and you'll see, like you go into a sporting goods store, you pick up 2 bats, you look at them and you'll probably see a difference. So I'm a big advocate for the 99.9% of the baseball market that doesn't play pro ball to get a wood bat that is considered a wood bat.
Yeah.
But it's not really a wood bat. Like, for example, like a DeMarini wood composite or a bomb bat. I think that's the move. Because for one, it's going to feel like swing weight, especially, it's going to swing more like your metal bat.
Yep.
It's going to be less of a learning curve. You're probably not going to develop bad habits by swinging a small sweet spot, big, heavy wood bat that you're not used to swinging. And those bats are just more forgiving and a little hotter than a lot of other wood bats, in my opinion.
Yeah. How do you feel about like a bamboo hybrid?
Yeah. So like the thing with like the hybrid bats where it's like a bamboo core and a maple exterior, they're still a tad fragile. They're not like indestructible, but like even that is going to give you an advantage over a one piece of wood because those are like really flexible and they have like really good feel. And like the Rawlings wood composites, the bamboo core, maple exterior, those are awesome. Light swinging, forgiving barrel. I'm a big fan of those bats. They have a really good warranty on them.
How early do you think players should practice with wood?
Yeah, I think there used to be this really, really big culture in baseball 20, 30, 40 years ago of like, if you're not playing in a game,
hit with wood.
Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We all had our wood bat trainer. Yep. I think that's dying out and kind of for good reason. It makes sense. Like practice with what you play with.
Yep.
Right. The only situation where I'd say like, don't do that is if you're like playing USSSA and you swing a hype fire, like don't practice a ton with your composite bats unless it's like something that needs a lot of break-in. But I think like for the most part, you should try to practice with what you game, especially as a BBCOR guy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, swinging a bat with different swing weight, a different position sweet spot on the barrel. Like, for example, most wood bats, you have to hit it a little bit further out on the end of the bat.
Yep.
And they're typically heavier than a metal bat. So since it's heavier, you have to get the barrel out front a little bit more. And because the sweet spot's a little bit further out, you also have to get the barrel out front a little bit more. That contact point, like in position of where the plate is and where the ball is, like that's really different. Like even if it's just a couple inches out front,
that changes everything.
3
you
inches
can
back,
hear how that's going to be different.
Yeah, like you're gonna really have some issues going back and forth between those two bats. Whereas if you get a bomb bat or a Demarine wood composite or a Rawlings wood composite, lighter swing weight, more forgiving barrel, you're going to hit that ball in a similar position to what you're hitting with your, Bone Saber Hybrid or Atlas probably.
Yep. While saving some of those bullets in the chamber.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So looking towards the future, as we talk about these, wood bats have changed in the last 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
We've got these composites. We've got all these different things that we're doing with wood bats that, if you would have told my grandpa back when he was playing, he would have been like, it's wood.
Yeah.
We cut down the tree, we make the bat. What do you think bats will look like, say, in 10 years? Do you think we're like on a trajectory upward, or are we, sometimes we get called out for, it's just new paint.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in the wood bat world specifically, I think the market opportunity and where a lot of the market is going and where I think it's going to go even more towards is the unbreakable wood bat.
Yep. And
the bat that tournament associations like UCSA and Perfect Game are calling a wood bat, even though like if you cut that bat open, it's not wood. It's mostly not wood. So like bomb bat, for example.
Yeah.
And like if they're going to let you use those, like use them. Like why not use them? Because they're like I think a bomb bat is hotter than a wood bat. A Demarine wood composite is a much different feel, a way more flexy, forgiving barrel than a regular wood bat. So it's like they're not wood bats. They're vastly, vastly different, even though there is some wood on those bats. But if they're going to let you use those, use them because they're closer to your metal bats. They're not going to break. You're not going to spend a whole bunch of money breaking bats. I know you want to swing the same bat as Francisco Lindor because it's cool, but like I just don't think it's very financially viable. For metal bats, where it's going, I think there's a lot of different moving pieces with the different associations. Like baseball's kind of unique compared to softball because you have like a big like competition between the different materials.
Yeah,
you have 2-piece hybrids, 1-piece alloys, 2-piece composites. Where softball, like high level softball, it's all composite.
It's just multi-piece composite.
Exactly. Yeah,
like that ball is bigger.
Yeah,
that's just not going to work with alloy.
Personally, like if I ran everything, I would ban composite as a material in baseball.
Really?
Yeah. Hot take.
Any material, like not even on the handle, or barrel composite?
That's a great question. Barrel. Yeah, barrel.
Okay.
I would ban composite barrels.
Yeah.
From baseball because in BBCOR they just don't offer much of an advantage. I think a lot of the the testing and the safety regulations around the BBCOR test are for composite bats. It'd be a much simpler test and a much easier certification. I think it'd be cheaper I think the bats would be cheaper if they were able to not have to test for all the composite weird stuff in the BBCOR test. Because testing a bat is ridiculously expensive.
Especially testing a bat that like has to break in.
Exactly. Like
an alloy is going to be what it is.
Like getting a BBCOR bat certified is like $10,000 or something crazy like that. From what I've heard, like it's ridiculously expensive, and it's a big part of the reason why the bats are so expensive in BBCOR. So if composite wasn't a thing in BBCOR, I don't think it would hurt anything for the industry.
And it would help the consumer.
Like, yeah, I think so.
We're driving the prices down a little bit.
In USSSA, I think the composite bats have got too hot. Okay. Like especially recently, dude. Like, bro, it's bad.
Yeah.
Even with kids, like
what was it? I saw 120.
Yeah,
that's and that's you hitting them.
Yeah, like no one's hitting them 120, but yeah, 122. I've hit 122 like 5 different times with the high fire. It's bad.
That's a scary number.
Yeah, but like I'm talking like 12U. You know how much physical variance there is in 12U.
Oh yeah,
it's bad. Pitching from 50 feet away lobbing up a little 55-mile-an-hour fastball with a hype fire
to the kid that has the defined muscles.
It's like watching some of those comebackers is scary.
As a pitcher that wasn't very good, it was scary. Yeah.
And it's getting even worse. And not to mention they break all the time.
Yep.
It's very expensive. If you took composite out of the equation, you're swinging alloy USSSA, which is basically like BESR.
Yeah.
It's a light BESR, which is, it's hot, it's good, but it's like not, like honestly, a really strong 12 or 13-year-old swinging a hype fire drop 5 compared to, like, for example, a select power drop 5.
Yeah.
You can legit see a 5 to 8, even with the best players, up to like a 10-mile-an-hour difference in exit velo, which is a lot.
That's a lot.
Don't know. Yeah. Like for a good hitter, like 5 miles or like a mile an hour in exit velo is like 5 to 10 feet of extra distance.
Yeah. So you're
hit
talking
at a well launch angle. So like we're talking about
30,
like
40, 50 feet.
Yeah.
Which
lot.
Isn't necessary, when fences are,
200 feet.
Yes, exactly. You're talking a quarter of the field or whatnot. Okay.
And same with USA. USA is really similar association to BBCOR. I feel like there's not a need for composite barrels. So I think alloy only would help the industry, but that's probably not going to happen. So where I think the metal bat world will go, I hope there isn't a certification change. A lot of people think that bat companies want there to be a certification change so they can sell more bats. I don't know how true that is. I'm not going to get into all of that, but I think there will probably be another certification change at some point.
In which way?
I don't know. I think in USSSA composite is probably the most needed.
A dampering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For USSSA, a dampening. I think it'll always be a dampening.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately. Just because people find ways around the testing. For BBCOR, I think BBCOR bats are in a great spot.
They are.
I don't think there needs to be much changed. I think the main reason you're seeing big jumps in power numbers in college baseball is because of the baseball itself.
Yeah.
There's undoubtedly very, very, secure evidence that the baseball is hotter than it used to be 2 years ago. And the bats are not.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I remember I went out to the College World Series when UCLA won it all.
Oh, yeah.
And they scored like 7 runs in
2013.
Omaha. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was just like.
All singles, bro.
And it was TD Ameritrade. And so like center field was like, it was like a ghost town.
Yeah.
You could not get a ball.
Nobody could touch it.
No, there were like 2 balls that got out and they like scraped the wall. And one of them was like Michael Conforto.
Yeah.
Went on to hit like 30 bombs.
Oregon State Beaver.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second. There's something. We need a little bit of tinkering.
Yeah. That's like back when UCLA was swinging the 2014 Mako.
Yes.
I remember all those guys. I played against them. That was one of my favorite games I played in was at UCLA after they won the World Series. I thought that was so cool. Like looking at all those guys. Pat Valleca, Eric Falia, James Caprillion, Adam Plutko.
Yeah.
That team was sick, dude.
That's
Sidewinder. I forget his name, the closer.
Yes.
He was a dog.
He'd come in and it wasn't like you'd look at him and go, all right. Like it's not like flashing a radar gun.
No, bro. There was like 80, but he just like he's like a Western shooter. He just he just gets rid of the ball
spinning
so
balls
fast.
Like, gosh. Yeah. So anyhow, that the UCLA team that did that, I remember thinking like, man, BESR, like
David Berg.
BESR used to like create thousands. Good call. Great call.
David Berg.
BESR used to create these like, college baseball. You go up to Omaha and it's like, oh, they won 17-12.
Yep.
And now it's like UCLA, like they walk the leadoff guy. He'd get bunted to second. He'd like advance on a pass ball and they'd like squeeze him home.
Yeah, and like errors were like a really big thing.
It was a thing.
Yeah, errors are like how you scored runs. Yeah.
I remember thinking like, oh, this is like traditional baseball. And then after a while, I'd be like, oh man, I need a little something. Like,
yeah, and they made the baseball a lot hotter and that helped.
Yeah.
And also BBCOR bats have got better. That's definitely.
It's going to happen. I mean, the first round, the first couple of years of like a new certification.
Yeah.
You have to be kind of conservative because you can't have your bat.
Yeah.
Illegal.
And I wouldn't say like they got a lot hotter. They might have got a couple of miles an hour hotter, but they got more swingable.
And the sweet spot expands.
Yeah.
And
much more forgiving sweet spots, better flex on the bats. Like, just it performs better on miss hits, and just swing weight's a lot more ideal.
Yeah.
Those bats back in the day were really, really light or really, really heavy a lot of the time. And on the really, really light ones, like that Mako was a really popular bat because it was a really good youth bat.
Yeah.
But the BBCOR version was awful. I thought that bat sucked. So I like seeing UCLA put up 2 runs a game in the World Series. Like, that makes sense. That bat was not good. Yeah.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Batter Up Podcast and the entire conversation we've had with Will Taylor. Will's a phenomenal guest and a super intelligent guy in the bat world. If you're interested in seeing and shopping for the bat picks from Will Taylor himself and the Bat Bros, be sure to swing by JustBats, where we have a page dedicated to all the Bat Bro picks. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.